Hello everyone, it's Tilly from Tilly Journals and I'm here with a different video for you today. I am going to be designing some foil overlays and foil header overlays. This is my sort of design board on Pinterest. I don't always do this, but it's something I did for this one because I didn't have a decision about what I was going to do. So from that, after I'd looked at all of those, made a list of ideas. I don't know whether you can read this very well. Let's focus on it. So I'm going to do 4 full box overlays, a moon with some stars surrounding it, moon phases at the top and the bottom of overlay, several constellation overlay thing, and either an actual constellation or a quote box. And then I'm going to do moon phase bottom washi and moon phase headers. So the way I'm going to do that is, after this little bit of the video, this is going to be sped up with a voiceover. I've got my iPad here, which I'll just take off screen to put my password in. That's YouTube, watching a live plan with me. I've got Procreate here, and I will design on here. Oh god, you can see the reflect, that's my light. You can see that. I will design on here. I might even screen grab this. And then from that, I will send them across my computer and I'll screen grab at my computer for the rest of the video. I'm going to see if I can get this. I'd rather sort of film the screen, if I can, of the iPad like this, so that you can actually see what my hand's doing rather than just screen grab at the iPad. So we'll see if I can move the light a little bit to make this a bit better. So that's the plan. So what I have on here is set up. I've got some different things, so I just have one set up for EC boxes. That gives me the right sort of dimensions for EC boxes. Just to show you the sort of thing I'm doing, these are some bow overlays I've done. You can't really tell what they're like because they're on, I'll just put a background colour on, there we go. So they're just some of the sort of confetti overlays I've done. There's like a nice bow present, if it'll load. So yeah, I'm just making an overlay type thing. So yeah, and these are going to be constellation-y, moon phasey type things. So without further ado, I'm going to adjust my camera a bit and get on with it. Okay, so I am afraid I lost a bit of footage on this, so I'm just starting with the moon and stars overlay, and I will show you how I made the star stamp that I'm about to use first. So I drew this star and then I just exported it and then re-imported it as a brush with a solid black blank background. Then you have to invert it to make sure the stamp is how you want it. So then I'm just going to draw stars in that, but that's the footage I lost, I'm afraid. So instead I've moved on to my moon phases. And you can see me rubbing out here, which I'm going to undo all of in a few minutes because I realised I didn't mean to undo all, wrote about those things. In retrospect, maybe I'll make a future one that those lines are rubbed out, but we'll see. Here I'm just rubbing out some bits and pieces, and then I'm going, as I say, this is all going to be undone in a second because this is not what I wanted to do. I really like the feature in Procreate that it's dead easy to undo things, but it's really hard to redo things, which is kind of frustrating. So use new layers, people, if you're designing on Procreate. This is where I realised, and I'm like, oh no, this is not what I planned. So just get into that point where I have the circle again, and I can just bob it over that one, and then duplicate it again. I'm just doing lots of duplicating layers and things in a second once I've drawn. And then this one I'm stretching out the circle to get on a new layer to get the sort of crescent I want, then putting that layer in grey and filling the extra bit. So then I'm just going to move things around to spread them out evenly. This washi is actually the wrong size, and I will redesign it with an extra moon on in a little bit. It's not quite bottom washi size. I screwed up my calculations when I was making the setup for this, but oh well, it's fine. So yeah, just going into my header sized thing and splitting each of these moons onto their own layers to start off with, which did not need doing in retrospect. I could have just moved them on their own layers, but on the one layer, because I then merged them back into one layer. That's probably excessive work for myself, but it's fine. I'm just using sort of the tap once rule to move things. So if you tap once, it just nudges very slightly. I'm then just working out the correct sizing, so I'm just making it a little bit smaller each time and then horizontally flipping it, essentially mirroring it, to get the both way moon phases without having to draw it twice. And then I'm using that nudge again to put it in the right place, resizing very slightly, contending with a low battery, and then turn off the background colour to export it as a PNG, which is my favourite way to export things. So next one is the constellations. For this one I am using my star stamp that I showed you how I made earlier, putting these in a few places and then joining it with a line. Here I'm just working out exactly how thick to do that line, and I'm using the hold down technique. So if you hold down at the end of a line or at the end of a curve, it will make that a neat curve or a neat line. You can do the same with circles, which I used right at the beginning to draw that moon, ellipses, quadrilaterals, yeah, all sorts of things. It's quite fun. I quite like it. I use it quite a lot, so just going to go through and do that lots of times. You can also then click edit the shape, which there you go, I've done there, and then you can just adjust your line slightly without having to draw each line on a new layer, or select it, because this is all one layer, which is probably silly. I should have done the stars on one layer and the lines on another layer, but I didn't. There I'm just selecting that one constellation to adjust it a little bit, to move it to a place I thought it would look a little bit nicer. So yeah, I am currently just designing things for myself, because I enjoy it, and it's a hobby and I like making stickers. This is why you're going to see a lot more overlays being used by me in coming days, weeks, months, because I'm loving making them. I made some script stickers as well, and the reason I didn't want to do the quote overlay for this design, but I thought I'd do that to show you how I design those as well, because my lettering is all drawn by hand and then put in. Here I realised there's some white, and because I do a PNG, I didn't want the white there, so I'm just going through and cleaning up that white with the eraser tool. I was very frustrated at this point about that. Didn't really matter. Then I just turn off my light purple background and export. I don't know what I'm doing there. Just merging everything into one thing and sending myself them. So here I am writing in the quote, so I'm just doing a mixture of brush lettering and sort of designing it how I kind of envisage it on the full box, but a bit more spread out so I can crop each image individually. Sorry if there have been some weird breaks. My camera decided to show the wrong footage. I'm then designing the correct size bottom washi. I actually recorded this way later in the day, after some messing about on the computer, which you'll see me messing about on the computer first, and then see this bit. Here I'm trying to work out the best way to put another circle in at this point, and in the end I just pull one in from somewhere from the other sheet, and then make it the right size, but it's fine. Just squidging things up a little bit again. So just trying to get the circle the perfectly right shape here by making it a line and then moving it along, and then we'll duplicate and make another moon phase by making that light again and then using the arc tool to put the line where I want it. That will be that, and then I think it will be time to move back to my desktop for the silhouette editing, silhouette stuff. So usually I use a website called Small PDF to make my files into JPEGs from the scanned PDF, but for some reason I'd already done 2 that hour because I'd messed up. I'd changed the wrong one. So I'm just pulling out my confetti overlay template there to get the right size boxes and everything, because I'm lazy and I like to have a basis. So here I'm just cropping down the scanned in quote to each individual little section so that I can edit it how I want to. I couldn't work out why this onlet wouldn't go to the right size, but it just would not, and it was really frustrating me. So I eventually had to save it and then go back in and resize it again. I think it was just so much smaller than the original A4 sheet of paper. It didn't like it. So then I'm going to open those into Photoshop. You could do this, if I had a Mac, this would be easy to do just basically in Mac. So all I'm doing is first I'm zooming into each one, and then I'm selecting all of the white, turning off the fact that there's a background layer so I can make it deleted properly, then deleting all the white space. On the stars I also got rid of those little black splodges that were there. Then I'm just saving each one as a PNG and going through and doing that, so that I have them all as PNGs with blank backgrounds, so I can sort of merge them together into silhouette without it being upsetting. The keep your, I didn't manage to do the same size because I don't have guidelines or anything with my writing. I just altered that a little bit to make it sort of how I wanted it. So that's Photoshop all done, and now I'm going to drag those lines onto there, and then just arrange them in the full box how I want them. Grab all of them and move them to the centre of the full box. I mean, I could have merged them and centred them horizontally, that would probably be more sensible, but I didn't. Then I'm just resizing the other images into the right size. The moon phases I'm just bobbing down, and then I'll just centralise them both. And then the moon and stars I'll just put in as is. So the bigger like the image is that I make in Procreate, the less editing I need in Silhouette. You just see there, I was also watching a YouTube video at the same time, checking my measurements for my bottom washi, because I haven't done full size bottom washi before. And then this is where I realised that is not the right size for what I want. So I just save this for now because it was still saved as confetti. Go to my headers, which are going to be moon phase headers. Again, pull out my confetti headers to edit, put it in that moon phase, lock the size and move it to the right place on the header. And then just duplicate that down 8 times, make that one item, and then make that 4 times on the page. The actual silhouette editing time is very slow. If you wanted to know, by the way, this whole video is sped up to 5 times speed, so this takes sort of 5 times longer than this video. I think the raw footage with the missed out bit was just over an hour for this. So obviously that missed out bit was probably another 20 minutes ish, maybe less, because my camera records 20 minutes and I think it's just lost one set of 20 minutes. So now I've pulled in that other one that I'd made on Procreate at the beginning, so this is like the inception time. So this is after that second designing. It wouldn't crop for some reason in Windows, just wouldn't crop it. It was being really difficult. It just wouldn't save. So I tried a few different ways to save it, and then I gave up and opened it in Photoshop. I tried Snipping Tool first, but Snipping Tool wasn't playing, so I tried Photoshop. So what I did was selected the bit I wanted, but I didn't do it correctly the first time, and accidentally pasted the Snipping Tool thing. So eventually I managed to copy that and then make a new image from the pasted selection, and then save that as a PNG as well, because PNGs can have blank backgrounds. Then we have the correct sizing. So I'm just centralizing everything, putting things in the right place, then bringing the smaller one in to the other document to do the same thing, just checking bottom washi size again there for the left hand page in the Erin Condren. So yeah, that's just going to go there. Just keep resizing things slightly, make everything the same. Then we have our 4 sheets. So now, because I don't like printing directly from Silhouette because it takes so long, I've skipped out the time it takes. I print everything to PDF first and then print it from the PDF. So here we're waiting for it. I didn't realise I left this much time in. Oh, it's because I now open the other PDF. While that's doing that, I decide to open the other PDF and print. So the way I do this is I tell my printer it's label paper, I want it in black and white, and I use the side feeder on my printer. I'm going to do the same with the other one, and now I'm going to show you the printed sheets, full printed sheets, and then I'm going to go off and foil them. Here they are fully foiled. Now I'm going back into Silhouette and cutting things, making my cut lines, the red cut lines to be kiss cut and the black cut lines to be cut through, and just doing that with the other one. And now I'm going to show you the finished product. Okay, so my Silhouette has finished doing its thing and we have foiled stickers. So I'll just show you each sheet individually. I'm really pleased with how these came out. I'm not sure I love the moon. I might have preferred if I'd done like a crescent moon, but it's fine. I obviously foiled 2 in silver. I mean, this is all hand foiled, so there are some very slight imperfections in places that they're tiny. I mean, as you will get with anything that's that foiled. Then we have the moons. These have a little bit more specklediness. I don't even know if you can see it on camera, to be honest. That's because you can see it there-ish. When I foiled them, I accidentally had washi tape over some of the design, but the idea is that that's like your bottom washi, and it's, I mean, and then yeah. So I have a set of these for myself in silver, gold and rose gold, and you may see them appear at some other point on my channel or in my spreads, and obviously some bottom washi. I also have these 2 spare sheets. Now normally what I do is either keep them for myself or send them to a friend. There's a few friends I send some stickers to every so often, mostly Beth, but also Jenna, who also watches my channel, and I've sent Jess a couple as well. But I thought, because you'd watched me make these, you might want to have a chance at winning them. So if you watched the video to this point, you now have the opportunity to win them, because I'm not going to put this in the description or anything. So if you're the only person that watches my videos all the way through, you've got a good chance of winning these. It is open internationally, and all you have to do is be subscribed to my channel, like the video, oh sorry, I'm just pulling off the edge, and leave a comment down below giving me an idea to make a set of overlays. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Comment, like down below if you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!